summary of the news. His Royal Highness Crown Prince Al Hussein participated in the Charity Closed Bank Initiative, which is one of the Jordan Hashemite charity organization's projects. The Prince joined a number of young men and women who represent academic, youth and civil institutions in sorting and filling clothes, which will be distributed during the holy month of Ramadan in order to meet the basic needs of poor families. The Crown Prince commended the initiative that promotes the sense of responsibility towards unprivileged families in the holy month. Prince Al Hussein honored the volunteers in recognition of their contributions to the voluntary work and their role towards their community. Prime Minister Hani al-Mulki visited the Education Ministry's examination department and checked on the main operations room. Deputy Prime Minister for Services Affairs and Minister of Education Mohammed Nebat briefed the Prime Minister on the progress of the General Secondary Certificate examinations Tawjihi. Nebat said that the exam is going well in the 417 schools, noting that the ministry didn't receive any comments or complaints regarding the exam. Al-Mulki praised attention given by the Education Ministry to the young generation and the cooperation between the public and private education sectors. Prime Minister Hani al-Mulki met Chairman of the National Center for Human Rights Board of Trustees Mohammed Adnan al-Bakhit and NCHR Chief Commissioner Musa Brezat. The Prime Minister was briefed on conditions of the NCHR, which is currently assuming the presidency of the Arab Network for National Human Rights and its relationship with the state agencies. Al-Bakhit called for introducing amendments to the NCHR's law to preserve this status. The Prime Minister stressed the importance of the centre's role in addressing challenges facing the kingdom due to the Syrian crisis that is reflecting on services offered to citizens, mainly education and water, that are considered as basic human rights. Jordan condemned the terrorist attack that took place in a Paris suburb yesterday night, claiming the lives of a French police chief and his partner. State Minister for Media Affairs and Government spokesperson Mohamed El-Momeni voiced Jordan's support to the French government in facing terrorism and extremism. He reiterated Jordan's stance that calls for intensifying international efforts within a holistic approach to deal with the terrorism as a major threat to global security. The man who killed the French police couple at their home near Paris was acting on an order from Daesh to kill infidels. Officials said Larousi Abala, who was killed in a shootout with police, was loyal to Daesh leader Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi. More in this report.
The brutal double stabbing in this Paris suburb overnight has left the law enforcement community reeling. A police commander and his partner killed on their own property by a man who'd pledged allegiance to Islamic State. Their 3-year-old son held hostage during the ordeal and in a state of shock, according to police.
We have never seen anything like it. It's the first time one of our colleagues was killed outside of service.
Authorities are calling it an assassination. They say 25-year-old Larousi Abala, who was killed by police during a raid on the house, had said he was answering a call from Islamic State to kill targets at home with their families. They said he kept a list of potential targets, including the names of rappers, journalists, police officers, and other public figures. Islamic State claimed responsibility for the attack. If true, it would be the first militant strike on French soil since the IS attacks in Paris in November that left 130 people dead. French President François Hollande.
France is not the only country concerned, as we have seen in the past few days in the United States, in Orlando. But we've also seen it in Europe and other countries around the world. France is confronted by an extremely high terrorist threat.
Une menace terroriste de très grande importance.
And yet, Abala, who served jail time in 2013 for helping Islamist militants, was under police surveillance at the time of the attack. With France already on high security alert for possible attacks during the Euro Soccer Championships, many are wondering, how was an active surveillance target able to strike such a deadly blow at the very law enforcement that was supposedly watching him?
Queen Rania visited Caritas Jordan in Jabal al-Webda, its community center, and the Restaurant of Mercy, which provides free iftar meals to people in need. On her first stop at the Caritas Community Center, Queen Rania toured the facility and met staff and beneficiaries from Jordan, Syria and Iraq. Director General of Caritas Jordan, Wael Sulaiman, briefed the Queen on the organization's work in the country. Queen Rania made her way to the Catholic Church of Our Lady of Annunciation, where she met Archbishop Marwan Laham, Reverend Boutros Hijazin and Reverend Rifat Badr, as well as members of the Caritas Jordan management team. Her Majesty also met a group of 50 Caritas volunteers who were preparing food packages for distribution to unprivileged families as part of the Caritas Ramadan campaign. Her Majesty's last stop was the Restaurant of Mercy, where she met with staff and volunteers while preparing meals for iftar. Caritas is an international organization affiliated with the Catholic Church, tasked with handling social and humanitarian work. A total of 148 new Syrian refugees from various age groups crossed into the kingdom during the last 24 hours. A military source said border guards provided the refugees with the necessary aid before transferring them to refugee camps. The Jordanian Royal Medical Services personnel also administered first aid to refugee patients through their medical centers at the borders. And finally, fair weather conditions in the country continues for most of regions for the rest of tonight. As for tomorrow, it will remain hot across the kingdom with a high of 37 degrees Celsius in Amman. The Gulf of Aqaba should expect very hot conditions tomorrow with a high of 46 degrees, while winds will be northerly moderate and seas calm. And with that, we come to the end of the news summary. I'm Lord Balkar. Thank you for joining us.